Hello, dear students. Welcome back to the channel. And again, Iqbal Chughtai is with you people. And today we are going to discuss a topic, phosphorylation. This topic is from the concept energy and respiration, and this covers GCE A levels. Now, in this topic, phosphorylation, we are going to discuss about the synthesis of ATP. Now, phosphorylation. Phosphorylation is a very simple concept that means addition of phosphate. If any phosphate molecule is added to another molecule, so this process is known as phosphorylation. When we are adding phosphate to glucose molecule or fructose molecule, we will call it phosphorylation of glucose, or we can call it phosphorylation of fructose. But when we simply name the process phosphorylation, that means synthesis of ATP, addition of phosphate to the ADP molecule to turn into ATP molecule. This phosphorylation is very important because this phosphorylation concept actually results in the synthesis of an ATP molecule that is known as energy currency. An ATP molecule stands for adenosine triphosphate that stores energy in the form of chemical energy in it when it is formed during energy yielding process. Whenever respiration does take place, energy is released during the oxidation process from the respiratory substrates. So that energy is mainly released either in the form of heat, but mainly in the form of chemical energy that is stored in ATP molecule. During phosphorylation, an inorganic phosphate is added into an ADP molecule and it turns into ATP. And during that process, 30.5 kilojoule energy, or if you round it off, 31 kilojoule energy is stored. Now the question here arises, why ATP molecule is taken as an energy currency? Remember one thing, ATP molecule is a special type of nucleotide that has got three important components. One component that is of central importance is ribose sugar, that is a pentose, and its formula is C5H10NO5. The other component is adenine nitrogen base that is attached to the carbon number 1 of the ribose sugar. And the third component is phosphate. In case of ATP, there are three phosphate attached to the ribose sugar, one after the other. So that makes it an ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. But when there is only a single phosphate attached, so that will be taken as adenosine monophosphate. When a phosphate is added to it, it is converted into ADP molecule, adenosine diphosphate, and in that process, 30.5 kilojoule energy is consumed, or you can say stored, while making ADP. And when ADP is converted into ATP, further 30.5 kilojoule energy is added up into this molecule. So addition of phosphate actually energizes a molecule and it increases its energy and it makes it more volatile. ATP molecule is preferred on the ground that it is a very small molecule. It can easily be formed and easily be hydrolyzed. And this molecule can easily diffuse out of mitochondria, means it can cross the mitochondrial membranes and it can move around everywhere in the cytoplasm. It can move into the nucleoplasm, it can move into the cytoplasm to ribosomes or other organelles where it might be required. Means wherever the metabolic activities are taking place, and these metabolic activities do need energy from the ATP source. So in that case, ATP molecule can be traveling. Another important thing about ATP is that it is involved in the reversible process, or you can say it is a link between energy yielding process and energy requiring process. So during oxidation processes that are occurring in the respiratory pathways, ATP molecule is produced, and this ATP molecule that is raised, that is actually consumed, releasing energy and phosphate during metabolic activities that we can take as energy requiring processes. So ATP molecule is also important here, that this ATP molecule has got its raw material abundantly available within the cell cytoplasm, within the mitochondrial matrix, and even in case of plant cell, if we say, so raw material is also available in the stroma of the chloroplast. Now, mitochondria or cytoplasm is not the only site where ATP is synthesized, but in case of plant cell, chloroplast is also involved in raising ATP molecule. But over here, our main course of discussion will revolve around respiration. Okay. Now, there is an enzyme involved that is known as ATP synthase, and various different types of enzymes are involved that are known as ATP synthase. ATP synthase is an enzyme that catalyzes the synthesis of ATP molecule. A special type of ATP synthase molecule is involved in the oxidative phosphorylation. This ATP synthase is a part of electron transport chain that is well installed on the cristae of mitochondria. And this special type of ATP synthase is driven by the movement of protons down the proton gradient. When the protons are allowed to pass through these ATP synthase molecules, so these molecules rotate and their configuration is altered. That makes active site available for ADP molecule and inorganic phosphate to get attached with the active site. Energy comes from the electrons when they are losing their energies to the surrounding, and then this ATP and this inorganic phosphate is combined to form ATP molecule that leaves the active site, and the whole process is repeated. Now, ATP synthesis requires energy, and energy comes from oxidation processes that are occurring during respiratory pathways. Now, energy source, if we consider the energy source, we can differentiate this phosphorylation into two types. One is known as substrate-level phosphorylation, and the other type is known as oxidative phosphorylation. During substrate-level phosphorylation, energy comes from the chemical compounds, organic molecules, when they are converted from one form to another form, so that energy, excess energy contained in them is released to the surrounding. And if that energy is consumed in raising ATP molecule, so this type of phosphorylation is known as substrate level phosphorylation. I repeat, organic molecule, when it is converted into another form, excess energies contained in it will be released to the surrounding, and these energies can be picked and used to raise ATP molecule. So this type of phosphorylation is known as substrate level phosphorylation. And during respiratory metabolism, or you can say during glycolytic pathway, this substrate level phosphorylation occurs in the process of glycolysis that takes place in the cytoplasm, and this process also occurs in the Krebs cycle that takes place in the matrix of mitochondria. Now, the second type is known as oxidative phosphorylation. And in this phosphorylation process, energy for ATP synthesis that comes from the electrons. Highly excited electrons with higher energy level and unstable state, when they are allowed to pass through the electron transport chain, observing a series of redox reaction. So at each step, when they are proceeding from enzymes, coenzymes, or pigment complex, means cytochrome pigment complex, at each stage, at each redox level, electrons are losing their excess energies to the surrounding. And these excess energies that have been lost to the surrounding are captured, or you can say harvested, by ATP synthase enzymes to make an ATP molecule. So this type of phosphorylation is known as oxidative phosphorylation. So I repeat that during oxidative phosphorylation, energy that needs to be stored in the ATP molecule comes from the electron. Excited electrons, they are passing through the various components of electron transport chain during a series of redox reaction. They are getting rid of their excess energies to the surrounding. And these excess energies are harvested, captured by the ATP synthase enzymes, and that is used to raise ATP molecule. So that's why we call it oxidative phosphorylation. Now, why electrons are losing energies? Because electrons in their lower energy state, they are much stable. But when they are excited, so they are with the higher energies, and at higher energy level, they are highly unstable. So in order to gain stability, electrons tend to lose their excess energies to the surrounding, and they want to gain stability. So that's why oxidative phosphorylation does take place. But remember one thing, oxidative phosphorylation only occurs at the electron transport chain that are located or that are installed on the cristae of mitochondria. And oxidative phosphorylation does yield maximum amount of ATP out of a glucose molecule that is taken as a primary respiratory substrate. Now, during this phosphorylation process, what we have studied so far, that phosphorylation is a process of raising an ATP molecule, and this process involves storage of energy in the ATP molecule that can later be used in various metabolic pathways. And in this process, we have also discussed and differentiated between the substrate level phosphorylation and oxidative phosphorylation. Now, definitely ATP molecule is used in certain areas of the cells, inside the cells, for various metabolic activities to proceed, and even for active transport to take place. So in that case, ATP molecule needs to be hydrolyzed, and its hydrolysis, its breakdown into its component and involving the release of energy, this process is known as dephosphorylation. So dephosphorylation means removal of phosphate, and if the phosphate is being removed from ATP molecule, that also results in the release of energy from that ATP molecule as well. Now, dephosphorylation also involves enzyme, and the enzyme involves here is named as ATPase. So you can say the dephosphorylation process is the reverse of phosphorylation, and this is what actually keeps occurring inside our cells, within the cytoplasm, within the mitochondria. That phosphorylation and dephosphorylation as reversible process, they remain occurring throughout the day, throughout the night, 24 hours, every moment of the second respiration keeps going on. This was about phosphorylation, and stay tuned for further updates, for further upcoming lectures, even sub lectures for respiration as well. Thank you very much.